Hi, this is Rich Coles from Prodactive. So one of the videos I get asked so much about is the S-curve, or what is now also a glide path as well. And there's lots of questions because people have wanted to crack this and have asked me for the templates, further instructions, etc. And so what I thought is, well, I've made some significant enhancements to this over time from when I first did the video. And I thought I would provide the template set to people so they can download it and crack it for themselves as well. So again, at Prodactive, we love cracking solutions that people think can't be done within Smartsheet. So we always like to show you exactly the full potential of what can be achieved within Smartsheet. And we love working with people from around the world. We've got so many really exciting clients who we really help transform execution to unlock potential and let them achieve amazing things within the Smartsheet platform. So if you're looking to achieve more and get more for your business, your organization out of Smartsheet, please do get in touch, because that's what we do all day, every day. We eat, sleep, breathe Smartsheet in this bit, and love coming up with fantastic solutions to challenges that people set us on this piece. So please do get in touch with us at Prodactive. But if you're just looking to understand what are the enhancements to, or how can you use the S-curve or glide path within Smartsheet, then these are the enhancements that I've made, and I'm going to show you how it works. So let's switch across to that. Okay, so as we dive in, this is the S-curve glide path as you've seen it in a previous video if you've seen this one. Now, just to explain what you're seeing, it's showing a project time plan, and it's showing when does the time plan start and when is it due to finish, and ultimately you're seeing what was the plan of the timings. So the S-curve, the purpose of this is to see where would you expect to be at a moment in time on the time plan, to understand that. And then you can see that was the baseline, what was the actual latest plan, and then how we're tracking relative to the latest plan. So again, it's a great indicator to understand, are you behind or ahead of schedule overall versus where you planned to be, which is again a lot more accurate than just saying, oh, well, 10%, 20%, 30%. Where did you expect to be at that moment in time? So how's this working? Well, this is driven off a time plan, and within the time plan, this can be your standard time plan that is in here. And all I've got added to what will be a standard time plan is this additional column here, which is percentage of plan. Now, this column is a calculation, and what is this calculation doing? It is, if I just bring up the formula, the calculation is saying how many days is this task of the overall duration of the days of that. And so ultimately the formula is saying count the number of days here and then work out that many days of the total of these days here. So one of the questions that people have said previously is, well, the numbers don't add up properly. Now, I've taken out the calculation here because, yes, the numbers won't add up if you've got overlapping tasks on that side. And so you can look and be kind of confused by the totals here, but these totals aren't calculated. They're not used within any of the metrics on that side. So I've now updated the formula to make sure they're hidden. Now, just to show you as well, the number of days overall is 120 days on this piece. That's why I've got this column here, but this days column isn't actually required on this piece. One bit I'll just quickly show you is if I was to make changes to any of the dates, so I'm just going to put equals sum and then just add up the total of this, and you're going to see that this comes to 1. And let's just put a few decimals in just to kind of make sure, again, I'm not fudging anything. There you go, there should be enough decimals there. Now, if I change the duration of any task on this one, let's just make that to 7 weeks, for example, and you can see that the calculation doesn't change at all here. If I make this from 2 weeks, for example, or 2 days even, but 2 weeks, let's say that still stays as it is. And if I was to change the predecessors and just make this one was also a predecessor of 9, for example, does that change the total? No, it doesn't. So hopefully you can see that the actual duration of the project is changing at the top, but if I just undo that, you can see that's 82 days, but the total, i.e. the number of days effort that goes into it, doesn't change, and that's what the metric is looking into. So let me delete out these lines here because they're not required, and I'm going to delete out this column here because it's not required either. Okay, so really what you've got is you've got your plan, It has got a baseline set on it. You can see the baseline is showing where we are in relative terms, and percentage of plan. That's the critical column that needs to be added to this. Now, the first time I did this, I took a different template I'd used for my RAG history, and I went across the top. Again, I think most people will know that the Smartsheet is much better to go down in rows rather than columns. And so rather than doing it this way, which can be useful for different purposes, actually what I've done is I've now flipped it. So it's easier because the dates come down this way here as well. So let me just refresh. I don't need that. Okay. And what I have done by adding this date is it makes it easier on the dates. And again, if I want to change the format of the dates to make sure it works for both US and UK and Europe, for example, that works even better, and that's one of the things I typically like to do. Now, it's got a column for baseline, current plan and actual, and that's what you've seen on this chart here. So those are the three columns that are included. And if I just come back out, we don't need that one anymore. So if I come back to here, so what are the formulas we've got in and what's going on in this sheet? So a couple of things going on here. For the baseline formula, let me just edit column formula and show you what it's doing. So again, you'll be able to see this by going into and downloading the template here. But in terms of edit the reference, so this time plan is looking at so this for the baseline. If I click on, and it's going to bring up the item here. It's going into this view and the percentage of plan. So this is looking at the percentage of the plan column, which we have created specifically for this task. And it's saying, what is that percentage of the plan? And that's the formula we've just previously seen. So if I come back out and the baseline formula, so what it's saying, so that is what it's asking so it to look at. And it's saying, so sum that, and it's saying if the time, so standard timeline for the baseline. So let's just go to the range here. So the baseline finish, looking at that date here, and what else is it doing? It is then saying to it, edit column formula. Okay, so then it's saying, does the date, is it less than this date here? Okay, and then it's the last thing it's doing is it's saying, has it got any children? So when I said before, we're excluding any parents because otherwise that will throw the calculations off. It's just purely doing the tasks, none of the parent tasks, because the calculation for a parent task will throw things off. Okay, appreciate a bit complicated, but bear with me, it works. Or just download the template, trust, and know that it works on that side. So again, that's the kind of calculation there. The current plan, again, has got a formula in here. So you can see, again, I think the piece that people said previously was, well, Rich, I don't understand what the formulas are relating to in terms of the ranges. So again, that's looking at that one here. But the current plan is it's not going to look at the baseline date, but it's going to actually look at the standard line end. It's going to look at the end date rather than the baseline date. So on the baseline one, it looks at the baseline finish date. On here, it's looking at this date here. And what it's doing ultimately is it's saying, what's the percentage that's expected to be complete by this date here? And then the actual is looking at the archive sheet. So if I go into the sheet here, it's got an archive sheet and it's saying what percentage was completed by that moment in time as well. So this formula is a bit more complicated, not necessarily complicated, but different. And ultimately, it's saying go into the archive sheet and find the week arrow and tell me what the percentage was on that particular week. And we'll go to that sheet in a moment. But before we do, what I just want to show is some further enhancements on this particular sheet. So this sheet, what you'll see here is this top row here actually is linked to the start date. So that is in the sheet summary. So let's go across the sheet summary and you'll see the start date is looking at the time plan and it's saying what is the first date on the time plan, which is up here. So that's linked to this cell here. And let's just go back to this one. And then the end date is linked to the end date as well. And again, I've done a YouTube video previously on how to get these to link together. The little secret is if you start off doing a formula such as if, open brackets, and then you can put a reference in and you can tell it to, and then you just get rid of that bit of the formula at the start. Oops, he says. Let me just undo that. Okay, so that's how you get the start and end. I've also got this column here, which is just saying, is it active or not? Now, in this case, what I've said is I'm asking it to show me something that is a week before and a week afterwards in terms of the dates. So what I mean by that is when it comes to the chart. So one of the things which I thought would be better to include in here is in the report that is used in the chart for the dashboard. This is a report, and what it's doing is it's filtering is active checked. This way then, it means that the chart only shows the number of weeks that need to be shown on the chart. You don't need to adjust it because the report will only bring in the number of weeks that actually have data in that you want it to bring into. So what did I do here? I said, tell me the week before and then the week after the time plan ends. So we can see the plan ends on the 12th of March 2024. So 12th of March. And so it runs 1 week forwards. The plan starts on the 20th of November. So this is when the date starts here, and it's known it's active from this date here as well. So there what you've got is you've got dynamic chart, which will always adjust according to the dates on the plan. And I could adjust the dates, but trust me, when you get to play with this, if you put your own dates in, the report will update automatically and move to your dates, which is again really useful on that side. So the last piece which I just want to show you in here is one of the challenges people said to me was for the archive sheet. I had suggested that if you want to copy the top line here through to the archive, the challenge is that if you copy this row, it brings through, because it's a parent, it will bring through all the rows down below. So to avoid that, what you do is you create something which I call a bridge. So within this bridge, all I have done is I have created the date, task name, and then percentage complete. Now this percentage complete, all it's doing is it's a link from the S-curve, and what it's doing in terms of the source is going to go back to the time plan, and within here it's just purely linking to this percentage complete here. So what it means is this will always show, this sheet here, the archive bridge, will always show the latest percentage complete of the project. And so you can call it, and I've called it the project name, and this is today's date. So this will always just be showing today's date. This now has an automation so that instead of copying and unwittingly, or not that you want to, copying all these lines here, what this does as a bridge is it just simply copies that little bit of information here, and you've got a little automation that exists, and it's switched off at the moment. But if I activate it and go into it so we can edit it, then when it goes in every Monday, it will then send a copy of the situation of the latest percentage complete to the archive sheet. That archive sheet, so I'm going to press cancel and come back out, and I'm going to switch this off again. And all it's doing is it's sending it every week to this sheet so that for the metrics will just look and say, well, show me what the total was in that week. Now, if your timings don't always work on a Monday, for example, your start date here might not be a Monday. So what I've done is I've added in this formula here, which is the week. And so let me just edit column formula, and it's saying, show me the year and show me the week number of the date here. That way then, equally in the archive sheet, you've got the week number here. So even if the dates are slightly out, if it's in the same week, then it will know what that number is as well. So what that does is all that data goes through into the metric sheet. The metric sheet is then linked to a report. That report ultimately is what is in here. So let's just go into this sheet here. What's it connected to? It's connected to the report, and therefore the dates will automatically adjust relative to the dates on the plan. So that's the overall view for how this works. And again, I think it's some great enhancements in terms of for this to work, and so that you can get to play with it, test it, improve it, enhance it. Let me know any feedback, by the way. So again, if just when I go into the time plan, you'll notice in the summary, Any feedback you've got on any of the templates, then please do let me know of how we can make improvements. I trust this answers lots of the questions I've been receiving from people on how the S-curve, how the glide path works. Again, I think this is fantastic in terms of what it can do and how you can take it further, and how you can use it in many ways to continually enhance the capabilities that we get from Smartsheet in terms of being able to run our projects more effectively. So trust that's been useful. If you want any help, support in terms of doing amazing things with Smartsheet, please do get in touch with us at Prodactive. We love helping people to unlock potential, to transform execution. So get in touch. Can't wait to hear from you. Bye for now.